Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of describing parts of a whole. This is standard 6.5C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 14 of the 2022 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a workplace here, and 153 out of 225 employees attended a meeting. So which statement shows values that are equivalent to the fraction of employees who attended the meeting? Well, it seems like it's going to be 153 people attended out of 225 total. I mean, they gave it to us right there in the problem, and I'm seeing that in two different options here. Now, there's an estimate way of trying to figure this out, and then we'll actually do the actual work here. But I'm kind of stuck here, right? Between not sure how we're getting these fractions. We'll do that in a second, but then you get either that's 0.68 or 68%, 0.51 or 51%. The G and the J are flipped upside down, and so my total, right, needs to be my denominator, and they already told me that there's a total of 225 employees. So not going to be these. They have them inverted. So here's something that we could use as kind of a guesstimate, right? So what if I were to double this 153, right? If I were just to add another section of that, right? Well, that's going to be, what, 306 over 225. So, well, obviously that's an improper fraction, but what that tells me is that this 153 is bigger than half, and it's actually quite bigger than half. Because if it was at about half, then if I were to double it, it'd be right around that same thing. So I'm leaning more towards this one right here, because this 51%, it's basically half. And if this 153 was half of 225, if I were to double it, it would get me really, really close to 225. And this is a lot bigger than 225. So let's kind of operate off of F and see how we got there. So if we're doing 153 over 225, that means we're dividing by something to get down to my denominator of 25. I'm not sure what in the world you're going to do to get 153 to 17, but I could do 225 to 25, right? So if I count by 25s, 100 has got 4 25s, 200 has got 8 25s, so then 225 is going to be 9, okay? So it looks like we're dividing by 9s. So let's just double check. So 25 times 9. That's going to be 18 to 25. Yeah, that works. So 17 times 9 makes 153. Let's see, that's going to be 63. Yes, it is. 9 times 1 is that 9. Add the 6, you get 153. Okay, so this checks out right here. Okay, now, I'm not sure about that 68%. If I get it down to 17/25, I can change it into a decimal if I can get my denominator into tenths, hundreds, or thousandths. Because look at my first 3 digits after the decimal: tenths, hundredths, or thousandths. So if I can get my denominator into tenths, hundredths, or thousandths, I'm good to go. And so, you know what? If I multiply this by 4, I can make an equivalent fraction, because 25 times 4 makes 100. So 17 times 4 is 8. And look at that, 68. So that's 68 hundredths. So that's 0.68. Which is also the same as 68%. Yep, my answer here is F.